If your ancestry traces to anywhere outside of sub-Saharan Africa, roughly 1 to 4% of your DNA belongs to a Neanderthal. For decades, textbooks presented human evolution as a single straight path. We were taught a story where superior modern humans arrived in Europe 40,000 years ago and simply replaced the primitive ancestors they found there. The genetic data shatters that timeline. Evolution functioned as a messy, overlapping web where different human populations collided and mixed for tens of thousands of years. We absorbed these ancient lineages into our own. Their genetic history is still active inside you. The common image of a Neanderthal is a dim-witted, brutish cave dweller, an evolutionary dead end. Physically and intellectually, they were highly capable. They had brains slightly larger than ours, controlled fire for cooking, and manufactured complex stone tools. Their cultural behaviors were equally advanced. They created jewelry from shells, painted cave walls with ochre, and practiced the careful, ritualistic burial of their dead. It is difficult to find a meaningful gap between a species that creates art and cares for its sick and the modern humans who do the same. The first Homo sapiens to leave Africa encountered populations with their own sophisticated social and cultural traditions. In 2010, Svante Pääbo and his team published the first draft sequence of the Neanderthal genome. This provided the first hard evidence of widespread interbreeding between our ancestors and archaic humans. This inherited DNA remains functional today. It influences how our immune systems respond to threats and contributes to specific modern health risks, including our reaction to viruses like COVID-19. In 2008, scientists discovered an entirely new human species, the Denisovans. They were identified almost entirely through DNA extracted from a single finger bone found in a Siberian cave. This lineage is most prominent today in Melanesian and Aboriginal Australian populations, who carry between 3 and 5% Denisovan DNA. This DNA provides critical survival advantages. Modern Tibetans possess a gene variant called EPAS1 that allows them to thrive at high altitudes with low oxygen. They inherited this adaptation from Denisovan ancestors who had lived in these environments for millennia. When we adapt to extreme climates or resist viruses, we are using the genetic legacy of human groups that left the fossil record long ago. Old theories suggested that Neanderthals disappeared because they couldn't handle the climate fluctuations of the Ice Age, or because they lacked our intelligence. A 2026 Nature study shows a sprawling, interconnected web of Homo sapiens beside a fragmented Neanderthal cluster. When an environmental shock hits, the interconnected web redistributes the stress. Homo sapiens survived using distant allies for resources, while the isolated Neanderthals had no safety net. These dwindling, isolated populations were eventually absorbed into the larger Homo sapiens network through generations of interbreeding. The decisive factor for survival was the social capacity to build expansive, resilient alliances. This pattern of overlapping species goes back to the very beginning. A May 2026 fossil discovery in Ethiopia shows multiple hominin species living side by side 2.7 million years ago. This find completely removes the idea of a clean, linear origin point. Evolution has always been a messy process of different groups living in the same landscapes. Genetic studies from April 2026 show that even within Africa, Homo sapiens emerged from multiple interconnected populations mixing together over thousands of miles. Our origins were a continent-wide process of continuous mixing and diverging. Evidence from a prehistoric tomb near Paris shows how abruptly these populations can shift. Genetic data reveals a complete population replacement, where one group vanished and was succeeded by newcomers from the south. These cycles of migration and absorption are recurring themes in the archaeological record. Our history is a series of populations merging and moving. You are a living, breathing archive. Every cell in your body carries the genetic history of Neanderthals, Denisovans, and the interconnected populations of ancient Africa.